Hey, it's Rosemary here. How you doing? Okay, abundance is your birthright. You recognize that, right? Now imagine the scene. It's a street artist. You're walking by and you see this person drawing, painting, and scene after scene of people living life. Now normally these pictures are still life, a depiction of life with no life in them, of course. But this time, as you walk around looking at these pictures that the street painter has come up with, they seem to come alive. Men, women in all walks of life going about their business in each of these pictures on the sidewalk. And then as you admire these wonderfully realistic pictures, you notice that the street artist is kind of looking at you intently. And he comes over when you look at him. And he takes you by the hand and starts to tell you stories of each of the people in each of the pictures. He points them out one by one. He mentions each by name. And as he starts to talk and lead you from picture to picture, you realize that there are innumerable pictures as far as the eye can see, and each one of them has a story. And that story seems to include you in some way. Something you did when you didn't even realize you were doing anything had impacted every single one of these people in these pictures, and not in a bad way. You'd been doing your best to follow the calling on your life, and just by being your best self, you had impacted every single one of these people for good. You recognize the stories of some of your customers, and you smile to see how your product, your service, your music, your book, your ministry had changed their life in some small or big way. Okay, but you also heard stories of people you'd never even heard of or seen ever, who had somehow been impacted by you or by the people that you had impacted. Some people had never paid you a penny and had never even acknowledged you in any way, and yet because you had kept keeping on, you had changed their life in some way. And the street artist just keeps talking and talking and telling you story upon story upon story, and your eyes start to well up with tears as you realize that all that time, when you felt in the depths of despair that nothing you did seemed to be making any difference to anyone, it had actually been worth it. You started to remember the happy times and the down in the dumps times, okay? You started to remember the times when you'd been tempted to quit, to give up, because the fire had burned so hot and it was so painful, and you wondered if you had the strength to keep moving through it. And as all these thoughts were going through your head, the street artist just keeps telling you story upon story of life's change because you had not quit, because you did stay on path. And then you and he reached a section of the pictures on this incredibly huge sidewalk. And this was where time seemed to stand still. And while you had this, extraordinary experience, okay? And you noticed there was a different quality to the pictures that you now saw. They seemed a little bit more blurry, a little bit more uncertain. The people in them appearing, disappearing, and so you asked the street painter, why are these so different? Why are they not so clear like the ones we've already seen? And the street artist looked at you with compassion and he said, these are waiting to see what choice you make next. Okay? And in that moment, you recognize that you're on the brink of a huge decision. You hadn't realized just how huge the decision was until this very moment, because you had thought it only affected you. You had thought that no one cared what you did. You had not fully appreciated the impact you were called to have until this moment. Okay, you've been feeling a little while now that you had to step right out of your comfort zone and do something bigger than you'd done to date, and it just seemed too big for little old you. Okay, and now as you looked at all these paintings waiting to be made complete, you realized that the decision you were making had the potential to impact all these other numerous people, but yet you still had a choice, free will and all that. You didn't have to choose to complete the pictures. You could choose to walk away. You could do what you've always done and you would still make a difference and a fortune doing a smaller work, or you could step right out into abundance. It came with more trials and tribulations, and you'd already faced quite a lot of those to get where you were. And also it came with a whole lot of wins, a whole lot of triumphs in terms of people impacted, nations changed, and wealth created for you and for yours. But the choice was still yours to make, okay? The street artist looked at you intently. You could feel the love in his eyes as he looked at you, and you could also see the pain as though he knew the challenges you would face if you made the decision to allow these incomplete pictures that you now saw to become complete. And in that moment, you woke up. The words on your lips, abundance is your birthright. And you lie in bed, wondering, deciding, knowing that really it all mattered. So what choice do you make? It's time to fight for, to deliberately design the life you are born to live. The world awaits your awakening. Just before I go, if you are someone with a big vision for income, for impact, if you're fed up of conforming, of capitulating and being told that you want too much, then it's time for you to work with me in the League of Warriors, TILO, for leaders who want to change lives and create wealth doing the work they are born to do. Now, TILO, that's the League of Warriors, it's a mastermind group where just five entrepreneurs and leaders meet together once a month to brainstorm, to be held accountable, to smash through each person's limitations, to put plans in place to see wealth and impact increase. Each person gets time to get their individual challenges handled. You will walk out of every session with one crystal clear clarity on the next steps for you to take to increase your reach, to increase your impact, and to increase your income. Number 2, a plan to conquer any of the challenges that have previously assailed you and kept you trapped in overwhelm and indecision. Number 3, knowledge that you are no longer alone on this journey to living out your best life. 4, space from the chaos of regular life, because this once a month will become an oasis, something to look forward to, okay? Number 5, you'll get marketing plans and strategies tweaked, optimized, because everything, including your advertising, will get looked at with a fine-tooth comb. We want you to win, yeah? And twice a month, you and I will jump on Skype or the phone to make sure that you're staying on track with the plans, okay? And we no longer allow fear, overwhelm, a lack of clarity to get in the way of you implementing the plan and unleashing you and your products, your service, your ministry, your music, your books onto the world, okay? So if you're interested in finding out more about TILO, send me a message on Facebook. My page is Rosemary Nonny Knight. Just send me through a private message asking about TILO, the League of Warriors. This could be the thing you need to really accelerate your growth and income and impact. Okay then, until the next time, you have a choice to make. What is it going to be? Bye.